chapter. We're only going to go through this one example, and you only have 2 homework problems because these take a little bit of time. So, but you should be able to complete 2 within the hour. All right, process on these. So I believe it was the second section in chapter 3. We were looking at 2 lines and then we solved them algebraically, okay, by elimination and substitution. We're going to be using that elimination process with 3 variables now. Okay, so it's going to take multiple steps to finally get 1 variable. And you do need to work slowly just to make sure that you don't make a simple subtraction or addition or multiplication error. Okay, but it's all very basic. It just takes many steps. Okay, so the key in parentheses up there is to always look for something with a coefficient of 1. So either this b right here or this c. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you start with, but that's what you're going to try to get rid of first. So let's just take these 2. You don't have to start by combining the first 2 equations. You could start with taking the first one and the third one, but you just want to lump 2 of the equations together, and then we're going to try to cancel out one of the variables. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're trying to get rid of this b. So look up here. Up here we have minus 3b. So what do we need to multiply this middle equation by so that they cancel out? A 3. So we're going to multiply every single term by 3. The top one isn't going to change, so I'm just going to recopy it. Did I do my math right? Okay, I've got all 23 of you to double check my work up here. Okay, so now we're going to add these, okay, so that the b's are gone. Negative 90 what? 5? Okay, that's first step. Okay, now we need another equation to go with this one that also has the b missing. So what we're going to do that is to pair this equation, okay, the one that we always focus on first, with the other equation that we have. So we're going to lump these 2 together. Now, again, you don't have to pair the top 2 together and then the bottom 2 together. Sometimes you're going to pair the top and the bottom together because you can obviously rewrite these equations in any order. Okay, so if we put these 2 together and we're trying to get rid of the b's, this bottom one isn't going to change. Would you agree? Okay, that's the whole reason that we pick the one with the coefficient of 1, so we only have to multiply one equation by a number, not both of them. Okay, so this one right here, I'm just going to recopy. Okay, and an error can even happen just from you copying the equation down on your paper. So just take your time, double check that you got your minuses, your pluses all in the right order. But now this one, I'm multiplying everything by 8, and I'm going to rewrite it. So now we have what's that? Somebody help me out. Negative 408. Okay, so now we'll add these. The b's will go away, which is good. Help me out here. Negative 300. All right. I recommend highlighting these 2 in some sort of fashion. Okay, because now we have two equations that we're going to put together to try to cancel out one more variable. So the first step, which is kind of two steps, is to get two equations where the same variable is missing. In this case, we picked b to get rid of. So now we have two new equations that we're going to be combining to cancel out yet one more letter so that we can solve for one of them. It doesn't matter which one. Looking at a and b, both of them look kind of messy and the numbers are going to get big, okay, which is why we have calculators, not having you do mental math with numbers this large. Okay, so let's pick one to get rid of. Should we get rid of C's? Okay, so with 7 and 31, we're going to multiply them since 31 is prime. We're going to multiply them by each other. But right now they have the same sign, correct? So we need to multiply one of them by a negative number and the other one just by a positive number. So let's multiply this one by a negative 31 times negative 31. What are we going to multiply this one by? Times 7. Okay, so the more people doing the multiplication here in their calculators, the better, so that we can double check our work and also get through the notes faster. So on this equation first, what would my three numbers be? Did you say 45? Okay. Everyone else good with this? These three numbers? Okay. Now we're going to multiply these three numbers all by 7. What do we get there? 922? Okay. Hopefully this one's negative 217c. That's the whole reason we did this. And the last one. Say it again. Agree? Got all my double, triple checkers out there. Okay. So now we're going to do this again. So another elimination. Our C's are gone now. What do we have for A? What about here? If we divide by 81, three. Okay. The rest of it is just a simple substituting the number in, solving for another variable. So at this point, when you find your first variable, now we're looking at the two starred equations that I circled in blue. You can pick either one so that we can solve for C. Okay. So let's just pick this one right here. So if we substitute the A, because we found that, we can now figure out what C is and unlock the rest of this puzzle. Is that negative 138? Okay, a simple algebra 1 at this point. What do we get here? When we divide, what do we get? Now that we have two letters, we can go back to the very original problem, because those have all three variables in them. You can pick any of the three equations. You will get the same answer every single time. But we're going to go back to these original equations, pick one, put in our two values that we now know, A and C. So let's pick the middle one, since B is all by itself. So we'll do -5. We know our A value. We know our C value. Now we can solve for B. So we've got B minus what? 47. We add 47, and what do we get? So your answer, which is actually a coordinate, because when you have lines that are in 3 dimensions, it's really thinking about three-dimensional axes. So you have your x and your y, and then your z is sticking straight out this way. Okay, so you're actually writing this as a coordinate where the 3 lines intersect each other in space. So it just goes in alphabetical order. So we've got A, B, C. Questions on that?